The pain of resisting forgiveness. Good morning, beloved family. My name is Terrence, and I'm a grateful and blessed being in this process of recovery. Today, I want to talk to you about the pain of resisting forgiveness. For many years, I believed the hardest person I had to forgive was someone else. Then I discovered something. The hardest person I had to forgive was Terrence. Not because I wanted to punish myself, but because I didn't really understand what forgiveness was. Growing up, I was taught forgive, but never forget. But over the years, forgiveness came to mean something very different to me. I began to see forgiveness as giving love where pain had been living. And that's where I struggled, because I wasn't giving love to myself. How could I forgive someone I wasn't loving? Every time I looked at my past, I saw broken promises. I saw wasted opportunities. I saw people I had hurt. I saw jobs I had lost. I saw a man who couldn't seem to keep his word. The more I looked at my mistakes, the harder I became on myself. Then, when I first came into the rooms of recovery, someone said something that has stayed with me for over 3 decades. They looked at me and said, "Let us love you until you learn to love yourself." At that time, I didn't really understand those words. I had spent years believing I wasn't worthy of love. I could receive kindness, I could receive encouragement, but deep down, I couldn't receive love. About 90 days into recovery, something beautiful happened. The obsession and the compulsion began to lift. For the first time in years, I looked at myself differently. Not as a perfect man, not as a finished man, but as a man who had made it 90 days without using. That may not sound like much to some people. To me, it was everything. That wasn't the finish line. That was the beginning. The beginning of loving myself. The beginning of forgiving myself. The beginning of believing that maybe my life wasn't over after all. Then another beautiful discovery came into my life. It happened when I took my third step. I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understood God. Someone told my higher power only had to meet one requirement. My God had to be loving and caring. Those words changed everything because I had grown up with an image of God that often felt more condemning than comforting. A God who was disappointed in me. A God who was waiting to punish me. But something deep inside me never believed that was the whole story. I believe that if God is love, then love doesn't condemn, love doesn't shame, and love doesn't abandon. Love patiently calls us home. As I continue growing spiritually, my understanding of God changed. I stopped imagining God as a bigger version of a human being. God isn't controlled by anger, jealousy, or resentment. God is spirit. God is love. And if it isn't about love, it isn't about God. The more I understood unconditional love, the more truth became clear. God wasn't disappointed in me. God wasn't waiting to punish me. God was patiently waiting for me to awaken to the love that had been living within me all along. And then I realized something else. As long as I couldn't forgive myself, I couldn't fully receive the love that was already flowing through me. It wasn't that love had stopped. Love never stopped. I was resisting it. I believed my mistakes made me unworthy. I believed my past defined me. I believed I had to earn what had already been freely given. But the life-living me had never withheld love. I had been withholding it from myself. The moment I started forgiving myself, I didn't create love. I simply became available to the love that had always been there. And with that love came freedom. Not because my past changed, but because my relationship with my past changed. Something else changed too. I stopped beating myself up every time I made a mistake. Someone once told me, if you're going to beat yourself up with a feather. I laughed, but I never forgot it because we're human. Human beings make mistakes. Mistakes aren't here to define us, they're here to develop us. Every mistake carries a lesson, and every lesson carries a blessing. If we're willing to learn. Today, when I make a mistake, I don't ask, what's wrong with me? I ask, what is this here to teach me? That's what forgiveness has done for me. It replaced condemnation with curiosity. It replaced shame with growth. And people sometimes ask me, what was the greatest act of forgiveness in your life? And today my answer surprises them. The greatest act of forgiveness wasn't forgiving my past. It was accepting it. Accepting that it happened. Accepting that I couldn't change it. Accepting that I couldn't unring a bell. For years, I drove through life looking in the rearview mirror, replaying yesterday, reliving old mistakes, trying to rewrite history. But you can't safely move forward while staring into the rearview mirror. The past has lessons to teach us, but it was never meant to become our permanent address. Acceptance allowed me to live in this moment because this moment is where God is. This moment is where love is. This moment is where healing is. I can't change yesterday. Tomorrow hasn't arrived. But the life living me is fully present. Right here, right now. Sometimes I wonder, what if I could sit beside Terrence on the night of September 25th, 1991, the night before I surrendered? What would I say? I don't think I'd give him advice. I think I'd simply put my arm around him and whisper, Terrence, I know you're hurting. I know you're exhausted. I know you feel lost, but I also see something you can't see yet. I see greatness in you, not because of what you've done, but because of the life living you. Hold on. Tomorrow isn't the end of your story. Tomorrow is the beginning. Now let the life living you lead you on the path to the greatness that's already within you. And maybe that's what I want to say to you today. I don't know what you're carrying. I don't know what you've done. I don't know what you haven't forgiven yourself for. But I do know this. The life living you has never stopped loving you. Love has never stopped flowing. Perhaps the only thing standing between you and that love is your resistance to receiving it. Today, accept yourself. Receive the love that's already here. Learn from your past, but don't live there, because the life living you isn't calling you backward. It's lovingly calling you forward. If it isn't about love, it isn't about God. Trust the life living you and remember, you are the light. Let it shine.